All right, good evening, everybody. Today we're going to be doing the third quarter first test topic 3 review sheet. All right, hope this helps prepare you for the test. Let's begin. First of all, let's keep in mind that we're going to be using one of 5 formulas. Either the part equals percent times the whole, the I equals pretty, which is interest equals principal times rate times time, or we might be using the B minus S over O, which is big number minus small number divided by original number. We could be using MMA, which means move it, multiply it, or add it, or MMS, which is move it, multiply it, or subtract it, and subtract it. So let's move on to see how we're going to use these formulas here. Well, first one says find 185% of 300. Well, if we do this, we see that we are asked to find a certain percent of an amount, right? So basically a part of something. Well, we can see that they've given us a percent and a number, and if we start looking through here, which formulas will have us use a percent and a number? Well, we do need a percent when we move it, multiply it, and subtract it, but we're only going to use this when we're looking for things that are marked down or when they're asked to find a new sales price of something reduced. MMA will also have us move our decimal point, but only when you see something that says mark up, where it mentions that the new sales price will be increased. Big number minus small number divided by original number, that requires us to have two numbers. We've got a percent and a number. Then we've got the I equals pretty. Well, as you can see here, we need at least 3 different variables to be complete before we can find the last one. So the only one left is part equals percent times whole. We've got a percent and we've got the whole. Remember, the of is always the bottom of a fraction. The top is the is, right? And the bottom is the of. So you might look at it as, let's see, there is 3 pieces left of the 4 pieces of pizza that were there. Okay, that's what a fraction is, the part over the whole. So let's go ahead and solve some of these. Number 1 says that 185% of 300. So if we put that in the first formula for part, they don't give us the part of is 300, so that's going to be the whole. The percent, remember we have to move the decimal over twice, so we're going to multiply 300 by 1.85, and that's going to equal the part. Well, if we get our calculator out here, we take 300, multiply it to 1.85, that's going to give us 555. So the answer is 555. Next, number 2 says Joey catches 42 out of 60 throws. What percent of throws did he catch? Well, it gave us 2 numbers. Automatically, some might think we're going to go to big number minus small number, but we only use this when we're looking for a percent of change or a percent of error. We're not doing that here. We're looking for what percent of throws did he catch. Well, it mentions that he catches 42 throws. So we don't need to find the percent of error. We already have the information. We've got the part of the whole right here. And when we do that, we can see that we're going to be looking for the part and the whole, part equals percent times whole formula. So the whole is going to be 60 throws. We're looking for the percent, so we'll leave that as P. And then that's going to equal 42. Well, as we know, to get, you know what, I'm going to write this over here so it's a little bit easier for me to work. This is 60 times P is going to equal 42. 42 is the part of 60. But we're going to find the percent now. Well, to do this, I got to divide by 60 to get P alone. Whatever I divide from one side, I'll divide from the other. And now we see here we have 42 divided by 60. If I take 42 and divide it by 60. That's going to give me 0.7. So now that I know that it's 0.7, I have to realize to turn that into a percent, I have to move that decimal over 2 spaces. Okay, and so that's going to leave me with a 0 to fill in. So this is going to be 70%. All right. Number 3, Esther makes 8% commission for the new insurance policy that she sells. How much commission does she make on $10,000 of insurance policy? Well, if we would do that, we're going to see that once again they gave us the part of in a percent form of the whole amount. So the $10,000 is going to be the whole. That's the whole amount of money that the insurance policy was. We're looking for the part that we're going to get our cutoff of. So we're multiplying this to 8%. We have to move that decimal over twice. So we're going to be multiplying this to 0.08. And that's going to equal the amount that we're going to make from it. So let's see. We bring it up. We're going to have 10,000. We're going to multiply that to 0.08, and we're going to get $800. So our cut is $800, or I should say Esther's cut. Julian paid $54.56 in tax on a laptop that cost $682. What percent sales tax did he pay? Once again, we've got 2 numbers here, right? The part of this amount was sales tax. So once again, we can take 682, that's the whole. We're going to multiply it to P because that's the percent we're looking for. What percent is sales tax? It doesn't say percent of change or percent of error. It says what percent is sales tax. And that's got to equal $54.56. But once again, to get P alone, we're going to have to divide 682. Whatever I divide from one side, I'll divide from the other. Now I have to go ahead and take 54.56 and divide it by 682. And that's going to give us 0.08. Now remember, they're looking for the percent, so we have to move that decimal over twice, and that's going to go ahead and make 8%. All right, let's go to number 5. Jade researches online that her car is worth $8,000. She hopes to sell it for 85% of the value. She sells it for $6,500. Did she get what she wanted? Well, once again, we've got to figure out what the percent is, because she hopes to sell it for 85%. So the big number, or the whole number, is, 8,000. And again, we're using the formula. Part equals percent times whole. Okay, so the whole is the 8,000. We're looking for the percent, so that's going to be P, and that has to equal 6,500. To do this, we'll divide 8,000 away to get P by itself, and whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. And now we got 6,500 divided by 8,000. And that's going to give us about 81%. Remember, we got to move this decimal over twice. So that's going to be, it doesn't round up higher, it'll be 81%. I think that the answer was 0.8125. Okay, 0.8125. So when we move it over twice, it's going to give us 81%. Now, the question was, did she get what she wanted? Well, she wanted 85% of the value, so she did not get what she wants. The answer is no, she did not. Okay? The specification for the length of a boat is 5.25 inches. You find a boat that is 6.5625 inches long. What is the percent of air? Now, this time they're looking for the percent of air, not the percent. And to do this, we've got to go ahead and use another formula. Well, we're going to have to use the formula that it solves for percent of change or percent of error. That's big number minus small number divided by original number. If we follow this through, we're going to have to take the big number is 6,000, or excuse me, 6.5625. We have to minus the small number, and the small number is 5.25. We do this, we see we have 5, 2, 1, and 3.1. And now we have to divide that by the original number, right? Remember, it's big number minus small number divided by the original number. Well, the original number was the specification for the boat. So we're going to have to take that number and divide it by 5.25. And if we take our trusty calculator and do that, 1.3125 divided by 5.25 is going to give us 0.25. And since we're looking for a percent of error, this is now going to become, remember, we got to move that decimal twice, 25%. All right, number 7, Kelly softball team won 8 games last month and 12 this month. What is the percent of change? Once again, we've got to use that big number minus small number divided by original, because we have two numbers that are given to us and they want a percent of change. Well, this is pretty easy. The big number is 12, the small number is 8. 12 minus 8 is going to equal 4. Now we divide by the original number. The original number was team won 8 games last month. Well, last month comes before this month. So 4 divided by 8, that's going to go ahead and give us 0.5. And I'll double check that. Fairly sure I'm right. 4 divided by 8 equals 0.5. Good. And we move that decimal over twice. So that means it's going to be 50%. All right, what is the selling price for a $60 pair of shoes with 25% marked up? Okay, well, this time we see the word markup. So right there we know we're going to be using MMA. All right, and to use MMA, we're going to have to go ahead and move it, multiply it, and add it. So let's try that. We're going to move it. We move that decimal over twice, so that'll be 0.25. We're going to multiply it times 60, or $60, and then we're going to add it. Okay, so this is going to be, let's see, 0.25 times 60 is 15. And so now we got to take the $15 and add it to the $60. So let's see, 15 plus 60 is 75. So the new selling price is going to be $75. All right, let's finish this off. I had to make one little correction. So the bank gives Caleb a loan for $30,000 for 6 years at 8% interest. How much will Caleb pay in interest? Well, let's see. For this one, they gave us the principal, the time, and the interest. So the minute they did that, I knew I was going to use I is pretty. That's the interest equals the principal times the rate times the time. So let's see if this works out. First, we've got the principal, right? That's going to be 3,000 or 30,000, excuse me. Then we've got it for multiplying it to 6 years. And we're going to be multiplying it to 8%. And we move that decimal over twice, it'd be 0.08. Okay? So we're going to be multiplying these three numbers together. It should give us our interest. And I'm going to see if I can just move this over a second. I don't know if it's going to let me, but let's see. Yeah, I believe it will. Maybe not. There we go. All right, so I moved that over, and for some reason it kept this here. So I'm going to take it off so it doesn't confuse anybody. We know where these numbers came from. Oh, I did lose the 6 in there, didn't I? It was 6 years. Okay. Really, the years should have been over here in correlation with the variables, right? So let's just put this the right way so I don't confuse anybody. I'm probably confused you enough already. The time is going to, or the rate is going to be 0.08, and the time will be 6 years, okay? And now, to do this, we have to multiply these three numbers together. If we do that, we're going to take 30,000, multiply it to 0.08, and then multiply it to 6. That's going to give us 14,400. So the interest is going to equal 14,400. Let's make double sure of that. Yep, 14,400. That will be the interest that we must pay. All right, or that Caleb would pay. Find the sales price for 7,400 with a 45% markdown. This time we know we're going to use our markdown formula. And that's going to be MMS, move it, multiply it, and subtract it. We use this when markdowns are mentioned or when asked what the new sales price will be reduced to. So since this is markdown, we're going to take the 7,400. We're going to multiply it to what we move. We're moving that decimal over 2 places. So that's 0.45. And we're multiplying it to 7,400. And that's going to tell us how much the price is marked down. It says 7,400 times 0.45. And that's going to give us 3,330. I'm going to double check that. 7,400 times 0.45. Yep, 3,330. And now we got to remember to subtract that from the original amount. When I subtract these, I see that I'm getting 0. I have to borrow 1 to get 1 here. So this would be 3 now. This would be 1. 10 minus 3 is 7. 3 minus 3 is 0. And 4 minus 3 is, or 7 minus 3 is 4. So that means the new price will be $4,070. And that's all of them. I hope that helps you get ready for the test. I will see you Monday. Good luck.